Settle down, folks. I just making sure that I'm actually on. You never know what's going on until I actually see myself show up on this. And of course, we have a slight delay from the live broadcast. It's about 5 seconds or so, I think. I did also want to say congratulations to Carly Capola of Savoca, brand new tribal marshal. It's good to see you back in the fold, Carly. And I like your comment where you're talking about how bands that we grew up with, that we loved equally sometimes. And while Black Sabbath and Pink Floyd were out and currently putting stuff out, I gotta tell you, both bands would have been in my top 10 at that point. And of course, both bands are in the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame because they made the original. One of them made the original list, my list. Black Sabbath I had ranked them just slightly below the top 13 bands at that point, and you guys voted them in. So that's kind of cool. For those of you who are brand new to this kind of thing, I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line, and tonight is Tribal Forum number 104, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Pink Floyd's Roger Waters versus the entire Ozzy Osbourne clan. And then we're going to be dealing with the ongoing nomination process for the brand new, newly revealed Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. And I'm not sure which of those subjects I want to start off with. Maybe I should start off with a nicer bit of business to handle. What do you think, Kimberly?
I think you should.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Start off easy,
Yeah.
then get hard?
Yep.
Yeah? All right.
That's right.
We could do that. I've got my notes to handle it in a totally different way, but I'm real good at fast scrolling, folks. But before we get into all of that, I want to get through some channel business and get that out of the way. And of course, tonight's stream, I'm not hampered by having to switch off at about an hour. I stream on Sundays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. and all of my fellow content creators know that, despite one of them streaming against me right now. I do want to, it's been a while since I've had to bring up this subject, and I'm saddened to have to bring it up, but I do want to let you know that we have a troll alert going on. We haven't been messed around with, or at least I haven't been aware of it, when I've looked at the comments and everything, too much by trolls lately. And I've been very appreciative of the backing off of them on the channel. But I also, on Sunday evenings, I end my show and then I go over to the Four Horsemen, Royce in the house, right? And we have a conversation. It's a panel conversation. When I'm on my show, it's just me and of course Kiki there in the background who's talking to you fine folks. See, she's my tether to you. That's how it works here. And if she sees a comment that needs to be brought to the fore, she'll let me know as we go. And I'm hoping to get to some of your comments later on as we get through the main two sections of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So if you see the trolls, make sure, first of all, that it is a troll comment. All right? And if it's a troll comment, and it's just blatant, just knock them out right on out of the park. But I will say this, especially since Carly is a brand new tribal marshal, it's a good time to let everybody know that troll alerts should not be taken lightly, but we don't want to jump down a throat or isolate somebody. There was a point where Tokyo Records, Brian from Tokyo Records, was almost shut out of the conversation because of trolls coming in, and he was in the back chat room with those trolls. We took care of that, all right? And I'm sorry, Brian, if you're out there, that that happened to you on Royce's show. It really does get down to this is us battling all of this. I would have thought with one of those well-known trolls saying that that individual was turning over a new leaf. Both Royce and I talked about that in the background. We thought, yeah, taking him at his word, but that individual was also in the back chat. And I'm against back chat rooms. I'm against private chat rooms and messages while the stream is going on. It's not my way of conducting business. There is no back chat room to get behind any wall on this stream, folks. You're the chat. What's going on right now, these dozens of chats that I've seen, okay, that's the chat, right? And nobody can worm their way into the back rooms of anywhere over here, and I just won't allow it. Also, I want to thank you guys for hyping my videos. Boy, they're in need of it these days. It seems like nobody's watched my last 3 videos, and I think my last video was a good one. I thought it was good, Kimberly.
I did too.
You know?
I like it.
Yeah. Well, you gave it a thumbs up anyway.
I sure did.
Right. And so hyping of videos has become essential. It really has. There is a backing off on YouTube with this channel. There is no freaking doubt about it. I don't know why. You know, I try to stay away from politics, although we're going to have to skirt around political ideologies a little bit today. But I'm going to try and take a middle grounded stance on that. And it's mainly to make a point on each one of them. I don't care what your politics are, folks. If you're left wing, you're right wing, you're all welcomed here. Everybody has a right to believe in what they believe in and all of that. It's when politics are used to slam other individuals and or groups that I get a little pissed off at. And both sides of the aisle are a little bit of guilty, or if not, a little bit, a whole lot guilty of that. We've reached, of course, 47,000 subscribers. We've reached 47,087 4 times, and we've gone back down to as low as of last night, 4,069. Now I'm looking at my videos, like for example, my latest video that's just getting started. It's already gotten 4 subscribers and it lost 1. Somebody was offended by that or just didn't want to see my ugly face anymore and they unsubscribed. So see, I know when I honestly lose a subscriber. And as I've said before, 98% of all lost subscribers happen in your last 30 videos, and I check them regularly. And there's just nothing we can do about it. So all I can say is in order to grow this channel, if we're going to start a growth process, I really need your help, folks. So tell a friend, tell a family member, or as I used to say, telephone. Or telephony, I don't care, you know. But we got to get the word out on the bottom line as a channel, and we need to get this word out about the tribal forum, which kind of sits aside from the major channel. It's where I get a chance to connect with you guys. Otherwise, I'm just a video maker who makes commentaries on my videos. I might be covering an album, and I'll give you my thoughts on that album. Or I might be covering a story in rock, and I'll give you my thoughts on that story in rock. On this latest video, I took a story in rock and made it into a big deal. It's one of my longer videos. I think it's about 15 minutes, okay? Maybe 15 and a half? Yeah, it might even be 15 and a half full minutes, folks. I like to attack stories like that. Okay, this is a specific story, but this would be about 3 minutes to cover all the angles. So what's the greater picture here? And that's what I do on my latest video. We've reached 1 13.6 million views. I can't believe that. Or 13, I should say. Sorry about that. I was looking at the wrong statistic there. But 16.175 and 765. So we're pretty much at 13,176 views. So we're about ready to bump up from 13 million to 13.2. And I just announced that we had reached 13 million. The 1.6 was a number relating to how many videos I have. You know, for the longest time, I kept forgetting to tell you. By the way, the channel has reached 1.5 thousand videos. In other words, there's 1,500 videos on this channel to watch. Actually, now it's 1,600 and some already. I've only announced this once before, but when you come over here and you're wondering what's going on, that's a good reason to subscribe, because you'll get notifications. When you get notifications, click over to the channel page, find what you've missed, because there's tons. And also, I do want to say, there's an additional 150 plus videos on my channel members section. And so there's even more than that,
Oh my
with a
goodness.
financial backing.
Oh,
all right?
hon.
Yeah, baby.
45 RPM just sent 5
Oh, my
gift memberships.
All right.
Thank you so
45.
much, 45 RPM.
Oh, my goodness. That's like
That's
a $35
awesome.
super
Thank
thanks,
you.
baby.
Aw.
Now, what he's done is he's purchased those as gifts for you folks. All right, so right now the YouTube algorithm is spitting out to various people of you who are watching right now the offer to take 1 month free. You become a tribal elder, all right, and on top of that, you get access to 150 videos that don't see the light of the day on the regular channel, okay? But we can't, this is the frustrating part of this kind of giving, is he has to give it in general, right? We can't choose who's going to get this offer. That's all done by the YouTube algorithm, and there's just nothing that we can do about it. But good Lord, thank you so much, as well as, I might add, a super thanks from the fabulous Gear Jam. And like I said, Gear Jam, no, I haven't seen your message. Let me know on what platform you sent it in. You know, I get messages on Patreon. I get messages in the comments on my videos. A few have access to me on Messenger, things like that. So you got to let me know, you know, where to look for that comment, because you were asking me, did I get it? And I go, not that I'm aware of. And before I got up here, I searched for it and I didn't see it. So let me know, and I'll be sure to respond to your comment, brother. Also, I haven't spent a lot of time talking about this, folks. This is the tribal mug. This is the current tribal mug. And I've got an idea about developing a mug that would honor the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Can you guys give me an idea of what you would like to see on the face of such a mug? What could be in the back? You know, we're going to wind up with 65 members, and I worry that just making a list, you know, across the backside and then give it a nice front would be too small to read, or couldn't be accomplished. Or would you guys like me to do it in a series, you know, and then you could get this mug that has this many? You guys got to let me know, all right? This is a way to support the channel, all right? That's a design by me. And as you see, there's a tribe on the shores on an island. And off in the distance, you see this megalithic, giant Les Paul, tilted in age, waiting to show the tribe to the promised land of classic rock. And of course, we do have one more mug. This is the original tribal mug, and it's much more simple design, but I love it. It's the tribe, all right, and in silhouette. You can tell some of them are female, some of them are male, but you can't tell what color of skin they have. You can't tell by that specific garb specifically where they come from in the world, because that's what this tribe is all about. Because you're wondering, especially if you're a newer viewer, what is this thing he keeps calling the tribe? What is this tribal forum? Well, the tribe is those of us who are connected to the channel. Me as the content creator, Kimberly as my co-host and producer for the Tribal Forum, you folks who have subscribed, who have joined, right? And even you viewers who haven't joined yet or subscribed. And I'm telling you, I could really use your help. The tribe really needs to show growth. I'm happy with some of the statistics coming across my way, and I'm very, very frustrated with some of the others. And when I see disappointing data, then that's the first thing that starts to get me to rethink my whole process. And I don't want to make any major changes, but if the continued taking away of subscribers happens and the continuing lessening of views because I'm not showing up on your home pages, right? I get lots of comments. I don't even see you on my homepage, Michael. Or I don't get notified of your live streams. And that would explain a lot, especially with the amount of people showing up on the streams in the last 4 or 5 weeks compared to before. All right? So that's it in a lunchbox, folks. That's where the channel is. Let's see, merch. Oh, yes, and of course, on my last stream, and I'm so sorry that this happened, I forgot, well, I didn't forget, I just didn't have time to get to it, to shout out those who have given us super thanks. I'll give you an example. The 2 super thanks, even the buying of subscriptions, I try to keep track of that as well, are all given a shout out on my next live stream. In other words, those who have done it tonight will be verbally shouting them out on Sunday. And so tonight I just wanted to verbally shout out those who gave us super thanks on the last 2 streams, because I didn't shout you out from the stream before on Sunday. That was a jam. I barely got done with that episode before I had to sign off. I didn't even get a chance to check in with the regular peanut gallery on that episode. The folks that have been helping us out so much lately has been Michael Boswell with a $10 super thanks, Rockin' Robin Bird with the $2 swinging of the deuce hammer super thanks, Michael Boswell in again with another, but this time $5 super thanks, Just the Facts Man, $10, Agent Pepsi One, it was so good to see her back in, $5, Michael Boswell in again with a $10 super thanks. The 4 Horsemen, my buddy Royce in with a $10 super thanks. Ben Scheidegger with a $2 super thanks. And let's make sure I got them all. Yep. Natalie Angelo, thank you so much, Natalie, with a $5 super thanks. Ben Scheidegger with a $5 super thanks. The 4 Horsemen in again with a $10 super thanks. Understand some of these are from a second episode. Rockin' Robin Bird in again with a $2 super thanks. John Foster, it's always good to see you, John, with a $5 super thanks. Just the Facts Man in again more than once with a $20 super thanks. Deuces Wild with a $20 super thanks. Storm Cop, thank you, James, with a $10 super thanks. JP3000 with a $10 super thanks. I want to correct something about him, but let me finish this list. Just 3 more, folks. The 4 Horsemen in again with a $20 super thanks. Just the Facts Man in again with another $20 super thanks. And Deuces Wild with ended the whole show by swinging the mighty deuce hammer, a $2 super thanks. I was saying, everybody go over to JP's show, and I did some research. That I thought that was JP Salazar and his show, And so I was going, go over there. I'm sorry if I caused you any
Oh
consternation,
my goodness
JP.
sakes, hon.
Okay?
Dan, just the facts, man, just came in with the super things.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan.
We certainly appreciate it,
Oh, he
Dan.
says proud to support the channel.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
you are
Thank you
so
so much.
awesome, Dan.
A $10 super thanks.
He is
Thank you, Dan.
awesome.
I really appreciate it, brother. You have no idea how important all of this is. Okay? Let's check out. Okay, so that ought to take care of channel business. Let's get on down to brass tacks. And that means I have to skip past all this stuff that is a little more, I don't know, hairy canary to approach. And I kind of wanted to ease in on what's happening, or ease into the show tonight, I should say. All right, so like I promised, we're going to start off where we left off. As most of you know, and if you're brand new, I'll try to explain this as simply as I possibly can. My channel has always, I have always been very critical of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I know that many of you are as critical as I am, okay? My problem with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is that they're changing the rules as to what rock and roll is. I love all kinds of music, I should say. There's a few I don't care for. I don't like rap at all. I don't like opera at all. At all. I've tried. I can't get behind it. It's a weakness of mine.
It's better if you can be there in person. It is.
Well, I've seen some of the sets. The only problem with watching all those magnificent sets is listening to the freaking music.
Well, hon, I like Pavarotti.
Uh-huh.
I love, I do.
He's a great vocalist.
Yes. See, I love.
Right. And him doing songs from an opera as an appearance, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I just don't care for opera. I don't care for rap. And hip hop, there's some of it that's okay.
Yeah.
Some of it's
Some
okay.
of it is. I like some of it. Yeah.
But with hip hop, rap, and opera, I wouldn't invite them into anybody's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a different subgenre of music. Kimberly was saying in the last stream, but where do they go? They're not country. They're not. And I responded by going, what? Does that mean we have to let them into our clubhouse? Maybe they need to knock on country's door one more time or 10 more times. But quit knocking on rock and roll's door. If you're not rock and roll, why would you want anything to do with us anyway, other than the fact that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, traditionally, not so much anymore, has been the award show, the award organization that really brought in the bucks. And that's really where it gets down to, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you think about it. It's the monies that they can get and accrue, the careers they can revive, the careers that they can widen. Missy Elliott, now that you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, how many of the mindless flotsam and jetsam of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's audience bought into that nonsense and now is a Missy Elliott fan? And magically, because see, I don't mind you hearing about her and then becoming a fan. That doesn't bother me. But now, not only are they a fan, but their entire concept of what rock and roll has been changed by John Sykes, the CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and his yearly re-explanation, it's coming out any day now, I'm sure, of what exactly rock and roll is all about. So that's how this whole thing started. I think I made an offhand remark or two, once or twice, maybe 3 times. I ought to start my own damned Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And some of you took me up on it. and said, no, we should. Let's do it as a tribe, right? And so the way the channel's set up, the best way for me to get instant interaction with all of you viewers is to do this through a poll system, all right? Now, I've explained to you to create the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, we're going to be retroactively inducting the 13 greatest bands of rock and roll, or the original, sort of original, 13 bands of Mt.Rock Olympus. That's where the term Mt.Rock Olympus even came from, okay? Was to honor 13 bands, and you know, if you know anything about Greek mythology, there were 12 gods that resided on Mt.Rock Olympus, but there's the third brother, Hades. Okay? It gave me an excuse to add at least one more band. A baker's dozen rather than a mere dozen. Okay, so that's how I started. That's the way my mind works. And then I put it up to the tribe through polls, and I put it up to the tribe on my original list, and there were like 4 bands on that original list that got voted off the island. One of you made fun of that, me saying that on a stream recently, and so I've been using it. I even used the phrase in my latest video, okay? So it's not just my list anymore. Now it's the tribe's list. All, except for the top 3 bands, were put out for a vote. Most of them survived, but about 4 of them were replaced with brand new bands. And matter of fact, one of the brand new bands, who ranked high with me, they were number 15 or 16, 14, something like that, on my list, Grand Funk Railroad, but not quite high enough to get into the top 13. You guys thought elsewise, and you voted them in. Now, we're going to retroactively take those 13 bands, and if you're wondering what those bands are, I covered them on my last stream. I don't want to go through that again, but you can go to my channel page, click the More button, and it has the 13 bands. Those are the first 13 bands of the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Then I announced that we're going to do it the same way that we came across with that list, right? And so now we've been running a series of polls, and I told you guys I was going to take my time. There have been polls where every 4 to 7 hours I put out a new one. The latest poll was put out 17 hours ago. The one before that is a day old. The one before that is 12 hours older than that. The one before that is 2 days old. Part 2 is 3 days old, and so is part 1 about 12 hours before that one. Okay, so that's what's been going on, and I'll read to you guys how the poll is going. Now, the reason we're going to do 26 polls, because that'll give each subgenre 13 to honor the 13 bands of Mt.Rock Olympus. 13 subgenres will get 2 a part 1 and a part 2, although they won't be called that, okay? Except for the first 2, it's part 1, part 2. But they'll get 2 chances of a field of 4, and the top 2 vote getters will be inducted. Now, why are we doing so many at once? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't bring this many in. Well, we're behind. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has decades on us, and we need to make up for lost time. Now, if this goes well, then at the very end of this year, probably after the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and their shenanigans, we'll do this again with a smaller field. And then yearly, after that, if I'm still here, all right, we'll do it yearly, and we'll get more sensible. But we've got to bolster the ranks, and anybody is up for grab. Now, I've done research on bands I'm not aware of. I know who I want in. I've remembered a lot of bands you guys talk about a lot, and that makes up a lot of some of the lists that I have put up, okay? And some of those lists have grown quite a bit since I last spoke to you about this. But where are we? Well, the reason I'm doing this, there's no playoffs to get 2 winners out of 8. That isn't going to happen. We're going to get 4 winners out of 8. All right? So every part of this poll, part 1 through I think I'm on part 6 now, will be eligible for you to vote on at any late date whatsoever. Now, the poll so far has attracted over 5,000 votes, so that's good news. And in the first part, I'll just announce the winners. Well, I'll give you the field. Here's what were nominated: King Crimson, Kate Bush, Moody Blues, and the Allman Brothers. King Crimson and especially the Moody Blues are leading. So if they are still leading, when I close this poll off, they will be inducted. Not yet, but it's looking good for them, okay? Now, part 2, the same thing. This is all for prog rock bands, by the way. Jethro Tull, Kansas, Styx, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Currently, Jethro Tull is leading, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer is on the number 2, and both of them have a good lead. But that doesn't mean Kansas or Styx still can't win. You can still vote on them, okay? All right, so part 3 is where we brought in a very wide subgenre: acoustic / country / southern / Americana rock, okay? And when you hear of all the subgenres, I think you'll understand why I had to get wide in some of these nominations. And this is also another reason why I included a chance twice for this subgenre. The first bit that was offered was Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, the Eagles, the Charlie Daniels Band, and John Mellencamp. Currently, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young are leading, and the Eagles are in second place. You know, when this first started, the Eagles were in second place, but just barely over the Charlie Daniels Band. I thought, because I've stated before, I think the Eagles, and you can hear part of my thought process on my latest video, because the Eagles, the Beatles, and Fleetwood Mac, as well as the band Poison and Grand Funk Railroad, are all mentioned in my latest video. And I tie a major theme to it. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and go see that. But there's no doubt to me that the Eagles have damaged their legacy, and I was worried because I love the Eagles. If I just see the name The Eagles and I think of their albums, all right, I love the band. But I don't, they've got Don Henley lip syncing. Don Henley and Glenn Frey treated Don Felder like shit and hasn't really treated Joe Walsh and Timothy B. Schmidt well at all, in my opinion, although both of them act like they're totally oblivious. When this thing finally falls apart and they're still amongst us, I am interested in hearing what Joe Walsh would have to say in an interview after it's all over, okay? He was great friends, best friends with Don Felder, and he had to give up that friendship, and the cost of giving up that friendship was to remain in the Eagles and shut his mouth about the injustices dealt out to Don Felder by Don Henley and Glenn Frey, okay? So that's in part 3. Part 4, the same thing: acoustic, country, southern, Americana rock, ZZ Top, Johnny Winter, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Molly Hatchet. Right now, leading is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, with ZZ Top in second place. Johnny Winters is the closest third place so far, and at one point, he was only 3% behind ZZ Top. And then the next morning I came in and I noticed, all right, the ZZ Top fans arrived and kind of put him down. Right now he's 12%, which is high for a third place so far on these questions, right? There's a couple of them. Herb Albert was another, and he's mentioned in this next section. Part 5, which of these Latino / urban or horn-based bands do you believe should hold a spot in the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. And the choice of this first field was Santana, Herb Albert, and the Tijuana Brass, Chicago Transit Authority, of course, and War, with or without Eric Burdon. And in first place is Santana with 42%. 1% less is Chicago Transit Authority with 41%. But another kind of high third place at 12%, Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass. You know, if they don't make it, I'll at least have some sort of good feelings that they got as far as they did, you know. And besides, they'd be eligible next time. All right, so that leads us to the current part. It's been out 17 hours so far. 600 of you plus have responded. And here's the question. Which of these Latino, urban, slash horn-based rock artists do you believe should hold a spot in the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? And this final field in this area is Tower of Power, Sly and the Family Stone, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Commodores. In first place, barely, and was in second place a mere few hours ago, is Sly and the Family Stone. Earth, Wind, and Fire was leading this. Of course, Sly was in second place, but he wasn't holding quite sway. Matter of fact, third and fourth place held a higher position, and then everybody started voting for Sly, and today Sly so far is ruling the roost with 42% of the 600. What is that? 4 times 6, that's 240 of you, right? 240 of you out of that 600 have voted for Sly and the Family Stone, but almost as many have voted for Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
That's a tough choice for me. Because I got to tell you, I love both bands. I love both bands. Talked a whole lot about Sly this year. Haven't talked a whole lot about Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've mentioned them a couple of times over on Royce's channel. But I love all four of these. Tower of Power, Still a Young Man. That's when I became aware of them, and they're fabulous too. I would have thought that Tower of Power would have had a greater chance. So, okay, so with that all in mind, let me get this back here, bring this up, and let's see. We'll go to live, hit that. There we go. Come on, baby. It's like it doesn't want to behave, folks. Here we go. Oh, boy. This iPad has been giving me crapola for, well, the last 4 or 5 hours. It hasn't been obeying, Kimberly.
Well, hon.
You know, I can't click into the live show.
Are you?
It won't let me.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, it's not letting me click in. Isn't that something? Dirty bastards.
The string?
Well, I'm seeing if I can fool it. Hold on a second here. You know, I might be able to fool it. Who knows? Let's see what happens if I go here, then go over here. Pardon me, folks. We're in no hurry today. It'll all even out in the end, I'm sure. Okay. And we go to live. Let's see if I can do it there. Ha ha. Got in on another account. All right. Okay. So that's where we are in the polling so far. And that gets us down to the next subgenre. Which one are we going to be coming up with as a brand new subgenre in the next two parts of the poll? And what I've chosen this time is psychedelic / acid rock. Okay? And what I want, and Kimberly, if you get any suggestions of bands or artists for psychedelic / acid rock, now keep in mind the 13 that have already been suggested, all right? And keep in mind the other, what is that, 4 times 6, 24 bands that have already been nominated in here. However, I don't know what to do about a double nomination. I'll have to think about it. Under stringent conditions, I might accept, if so-and-so didn't win in soul, they can now win as solo artist or something. I don't know. I don't know how. There's so many bands that haven't gotten a chance. I'm going to kind of lean on artists that haven't had any chance, even with the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. All right, so we got Psychedelic Acid. All right. So here are some of the suggestions from you folks and from me, kind of put in there. Here's who, this will kind of give you a direction to aim for on who you might want to see on this next list. Because I'm going to take these screenshots, I'm going to adjust it, I'm going to make a final decision out of this myriad of people as to who should go into this. All right, so Psychedelic or Acid Rock, Jefferson Airplane, the Iron Butterfly, the Electric Prunes, see, I promised, the Grateful Dead, the Doors, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Syd Barrett, the Byrds, Cream, It's a Beautiful Day, Strawberry Alarm Clock, Spirit, Fish, Alice Cooper, the group. Well, I'll just call it Alice Cooper. I'll let you guys decide. I will be awarding them as the Alice Cooper group, though. But if you want to join, vote for the dude if he winds up on this list, and you're mainly voting for him as a solo artist, at least he'll be inducted, okay? I'm not going to get too deep into the differences of that. How about Blue Cheer? Yeah, baby?
Oh, no, I was just saying that Donna the Frank says King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Okay, good.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're not on this list. So did you take a picture of that?
Yes, I did.
Good, good.
Yeah.
All right. So where was I? Strawberry Alarm Clock, Spirit, Fish, Alice Cooper, Blue Cheer, Hawkwind, Love, the band Love, Moby Grape, Quicksilver Messenger Service, Steppenwolf, and Vanilla Fudge. That's where, and Donovan, Traffic. I did this almost as a joke. They're a one-hit wonder, but man, I love their song. Zigger and Evans. But if enough of you go, yes, Zigger and Evans must be inducted, I'll include them in the poll. But I'm going to have to, that was kind of a joke response there. And who else did I say? And Arthur Brown, famous for the song Fire. I bid you to burn. Ooh, I love the dude. I absolutely love the dude.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where we're going so far with this. So before we get into part 2 here, Kimberly, let me know if there's anybody in the comments, anybody saying anything ultra wonderful and...
Oh, well, yeah, there's lots. There's Soundgarden, Cream, The Doors, Quicksilver Messenger Service, and Canned Heat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, take shots of this.
Yeah.
I miss Canned Heat. Read that list one more time for me.
Yeah, Just the Facts man says Quicksilver Messenger Service.
Yeah.
And Canned Heat was his very first concert.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, It's a Beautiful Day. White Bird is one of my favorite songs in rock.
Janis Joplin.
Yeah, their list was on there. I didn't see her as much that, but I'm not familiar with Big Brother and the whole. Are you talking about Big Brother and the Holding Company? You know what? Rob, the Waxed, sent me I bought an album from him on one of his auctions.
Dr. Insomnia says 13th floor elevators.
Yeah, 13th floor. Yeah. Okay, good. Make sure you catch that one.
Yeah.
Because they were on a list suggesting, and I just forgot to include them.
Ooh.
I did see them. I know very little about them, but if and when I see enough people saying this, I'll do research, I'll listen to them, and there's a good chance they could wind up on this.
How about David Bowie? And I love Ozark Mountain Daredevils. I love
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Love them.
Yeah, David Bowie's awesome.
Yeah.
Ozark
Ozark Mountain
Mountain
Daredevils.
Daredevils are
Yeah.
wonderful. The Kinks.
Yep.
Yeah?
The Kings.
Yeah. Oh, good. Definitely take a snapshot of that. Who said that? Caitlin. Thank you, Caitlin. Funkadelic. Between Two Guitars. Always good to see you in. Between Two Guitars has been with me a long time, way before the
Woohoo.
streaming era of the channel. Always good to see you, brother. Who else do we have here? The Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
Please, Dalek. And is it
Yeah.
Dalek? Okay. Is it Dalek or is it Dalek? Dalek.
Dalek Shalom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Piccolina's in.
Hi, Piccolina.
Hi.
Always good to see Piccolina in. Country Joe and the Fish. There's a good one. Atomic Rooster. Man, I haven't heard Atomic Rooster in decades. Oh, thanks for Uriah Heep. Yeah. I've got them in another category, but we could put them in here. But it wasn't. I was thinking, yeah, let's do it. Uriah Heep was in my original prog rock grouping, and I don't think I put him in. You know what I think about Uriah Heep.
Yeah.
Okay? To me, there wasn't the big three, the unholy three of heavy metal or heavy rock, which everybody easily identifies as Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and Deep Purple. To me, there was a fourth, and it was Uriah Heep. Mick Box is a vastly underrated guitarist. Ken Henley is a vastly underrated, not only keyboardist, but songwriter, and, for that matter, vocalist. May he rest in peace. The only member left in Uriah Heep is Mick Box, and he tours as Uriah Heep. You guys know what I think about that. But if the ticket prices were right, I'd go see him just to be able to hear Uriah Heep music and to say, I got to see Mick Box, because he is one of my guitar heroes. He really is vastly underrated. What do you guys think of Mick's playability? Do you guys agree with me? Is he as good as I think, or do you think I'm overrating him? Be interesting. Humble Pie, I would think of Humble Pie in the heavy rock section, but put it up, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Let me do some more thinking on that. The Clash. Now, see, the Clash I would put in as punk, in the punk era. And I do have a subgenre that will be including punk, but not just punk. I'm sorry. I see it as necessary, but
How about Stone Temple Pilots? Rockin' Robin Bird suggested.
Stone Temple Pilots? Yeah, I've got them on a list already for grunge.
Oh, grunge.
They're my
Okay,
favorite
yeah.
grunge band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet you're right. They could go on this. I mean, all these could go on this list. But I'm trying to keep it into the flavor of acid rock, psychedelic rock. I'd be mentioning the Beatles, but they're already on, Mt.Rock Olympus. There's no point in bringing them up, right? Let's see, who else do we have here?
Humble Pie.
The Doobie Brothers.
Oh, I love the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, where do you put the Doobie
yeah.
Brothers? Yeah. Good idea. Psychedelic. I'm not so sure I hear psychedelic. To me, the Doobie Brothers are roadside rock. Blues rock. Blues rock / pop rock. They cross over to the pop. But blues rock, I don't know.
Gary Wright.
Gary Wright, yeah, okay.
His song is pretty psychedelic to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah. When I first heard of Gary Wright, baby?
Yeah.
I know you. It was Dreamweaver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dreamweaver, yeah.
And what was that other one? Down.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I love
Gary
that
Wright,
song.
very
Actually, I
cool.
like that better than Dreamweaver. I like Dreamweaver for the first 100 times I heard it, and then it became like Hotel California. I couldn't listen to it anymore.
Yeah, it
or
was
Stairway
played,
to
it
Heaven.
was played a lot.
Yeah, so I don't listen to these anymore. And then when they come on albums, I wish to play. Then they're a treat. But some songs just got way too much airplay. I'll tell you where I was aware of him. So when he came out, Gary Wright, I go, is that the Gary? He was on George Harrison's All Things Must Pass album.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they have Bobby Whitlock there, you know, Carl Radle, who else? Jim Keltner, and Eric Clapton during those sessions met them, and that's how he created Derek and the Dominoes, was by meeting them during those and securing friendships if he had met one or two of them before during those recording sessions, you know?
Oh, how
Yeah.
about Psychedelic Furs?
Oh, good.
Donna the Frank, yeah, has
Psychedelic Furs, good. Someone just mentioned the Electric Prunes. Was that? Oh, okay. All right, that's Deuce. Yeah, they were one of the first bands I mentioned. Yeah, Iron Butterfly, the Electric Prunes, Jefferson Airplane, the Grateful Dead, the Doors, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Syd Barrett as a solo artist. You know, his solo record, that one I covered. Oh, God, it's great.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Because, you know, Pink Floyd's already in, but to the vast majority of you, for the most part, Pink Floyd is Roger Waters, you know, David Gilmour, and you've got Richard Wright and Nick on drums.
Yeah.
You know? And hardcore Pink Floyd fans, I tell you, I was a fan of that incarnation way before I even knew Syd Barrett existed. I wasn't aware of him or Pink Floyd during that time period.
Oh.
Yeah, for whatever
Mann.
reason.
How about Manfred Mann? Piccolina says Manfred
The
Mann.
Manfred Mann
Yep.
Band. Okay,
Yep.
good.
And
Oh,
let's
Doc
see.
made it in.
Yeah.
He said he might not make it in because he was working.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother.
Yep. It's always good to see Dr.
Small
Insomnia.
Faces. Small Faces.
Small
I need to
Faces.
catch up on their discography.
Blue Magoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe, Blue Magoos. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You guys are really pulling some from the archaic
Yeah.
section and history of
Yeah,
rock and roll tonight.
absolutely. That's
the
great.
Blue Magoos. Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. How about Between Two Guitars says The Dream Academy.
Yeah.
Underrated one-hit wonders produced by Pink Floyd's drummer.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
one, Life in a Northern Town.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Dream Academy?
Yeah.
I'm getting into Dream Theater these
Yep.
days, but they're more prog, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed them. I just totally missed them.
Spooky Tooth.
Oh, Spooky Tooth. Yeah.
Spooky Tooth, yeah.
Oh, okay. God, you guys are great.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Yeah.
They're really pulling them in.
Right. I always review my streams, so I'll watch this unfold and I'll type these in later. I'll also double check with everything that Kimberly is putting up because some of those we're not bringing up, I'm sure.
Oh, wow. Mark and the Mysterians.
Oh, question mark and the Mysterians.
Yeah, Donna
Yeah.
the Frank.
Yeah. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard,
Yeah.
a modern
What a name.
psychedelic band. Yeah, somebody already brought that up. Maybe it was you, Timothy. Good to see you, Timothy. Hope all is well with you, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, and happy birthday to Caitlin.
Oh, Caitlin, happy birthday,
She
girl.
just turned 16.
Oh, she's a baby.
It's her sweet 16.
She's still a babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caitlin's great.
Caitlin's going,
I know. Us girls kind of, yeah, we don't want to have birthdays.
oh, and by the way, Caitlin, on your stream earlier, I'm always over there. You guys got to go see Caitlin's Magical Corner.
Magical Corner, yeah.
Several of you were in today.
Go subscribe
right here in
to
the-
Caitlin's
in the
Magical
Peanut Gallery.
Corner.
I try to make it. The only time I don't make it, I think I didn't make her last stream before that because I was actually shooting a video. But I try to make it if I'm not doing
I know you
something
do.
on my own channel, I'm right there in the peanut gallery over
The
on her
turtles.
show. What's that?
The turtles. Piccolina the cat says
Yeah,
the
okay.
turtles. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Um,
Who was it that passed away? Mark Vorman of the Turtles? Was it
Yeah.
Mark? Mark
Yeah.
Vorman?
Steppenwolf.
Oh, Steppenwolf. Yeah. Yeah. I read them into it late in the list. Let's see. Yep, they're on my list. We were talking about Blue Cheer. Blue Cheer. Wow.
Yeah. The
Man, they
box
were
tops.
psychedelic. They were acid. They were psychedelic acid, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got that one album already, and I have a small record collection, folks. What am I up to? 153? I think I have 153 albums now.
Cool.
So, but when you've got a record like Blue Cheer, and you know that I'm trying to collect all the Beatle albums, all the Sabbath albums, all the Deep Purple albums, all the Pink Floyd albums, Black Sabbath, all these major bands that I'm trying to get, and still I have managed to pick up a Blue Cheer record. That was a scary ass record when it first came out. It was slightly hard to digest, and that's what made me so excited about it. I went and bought it. I loved it. Let's see. Oh, Joseph Blue's in.
Yes, he is.
Tommy James. Oh, yeah.
And the Shondells.
Yeah. Why didn't I put that? Because I meant to do that. Tommy James. Why isn't Tommy James up here? Good. That's a good idea. They could also be in for pop rock. They had hits that weren't, Tommy James, his last big hit was Dragging the Line, not psychedelic at all. But Tommy James and the Shondell, Crystal Blue Persuasion, that is psychedelic incarnate right there,
Yeah.
And others of their hits. And even the non-psychedelic hits with that anchor point almost become honorary psychedelic hits. And I became aware of Tommy James and the Shondells when Crystal Blue Persuasion, and what was the other big hit? Oh boy, I'm trying to remember the other one that they had that was huge.
Who did Blue Jean Baby Queen?
Huh?
Who did the Blue Jean Baby Queen? Prettiest girl I ever seen.
That's David X's.
David X. Yeah.
Now I've said it wrong. I won't remember.
Essex.
Essex. Thank you.
David
I see. Once I had that
yeah.
X in there was no way I was going to get to the S.
I love that
Essex.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Essex.
Yeah, it's called Rock On.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Rock On.
Yeah, I was saying this on Royce. I love this song.
Yeah.
Oh, Royce is in there. Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing, buddy? We were talking about this Rock On. Did you know that, they've got the little accompaniment with the percussion.
Oh, I love
But it's also
percussion.
panned, as I recall, to the left side of the stereo field.
Yeah.
Most of the instrumentation, besides David's vocals, is bass guitar, baby.
Yeah, and I love anything percussion
Yeah.
sound. Oh, yeah.
Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Love bass.
Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Yep.
Oh!
Yep.
Yeah, that gets me right in the giblets.
Yep.
Yeah,
Me
good
too.
bass playing always does.
Yep.
That goes right to your gut.
I know,
It goes
it
down
does.
to the center, to your hara.
It does. It
You
just
know?
yeah, and it grooves you.
Oh.
It grooves.
Well,
totally.
it's like, it's the gooey stuff in between the skeleton.
Plus, I was just a real young teenager when that came out, and I loved it.
I was pretty young myself.
We had such great music, huh?
I don't think you were a teenager when that came out, baby.
Yes, maybe I was almost a teenager.
Don't
Don't date me.
but no, you were younger than that.
You think?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. What year did that come out?
Well,
Does anybody know?
when I heard it, okay,
Yeah.
I was a young teenager.
Rock on, David Essex.
Rock on.
Essex.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got going here.
Oh, his
I want to
door
see if I
comes
can
in.
find it.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Okay.
Storage.
Yeah, that came. Okay. 73.
Yeah, I was a teenager.
Yeah. Were you?
I
was
Michael,
18.
Yeah, I was a young teenager, but I was a teenager.
Well, I guess if you call 12 a teenager.
Yeah. Yes, at that age, I called myself a teenager.
Yeah, when you turn 12, you kind of start
I had
embracing
two
teen.
numbers to my age.
Yeah.
Yes.
You start embracing teendom, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get on with part two here.
Oh.
We've been going about an hour. I think it's time for part two, right?
Yeah.
And we can go back to this, folks. You keep giving names and stuff. When I get back to the peanut gallery, we can slip off if nobody's interested in what I got to say about Roger Waters. To tell you the truth, I'm not that interested myself, except for the man pisses me off. Okay, so first of all, before I say a word, I want you all to know I am a major Pink Floyd fan. I have been a major Roger Waters fan and even liked his first couple of albums as a solo artist. When Pink Floyd first broke up, it was sad, but I didn't even know all the background drama at the time, okay, when all of that finally happened. So my viewpoint, historically speaking, generally speaking, of Roger Waters, he's one of my rock heroes. I want that understood. Just based on his past work alone, okay? Brian Jones is one of my rock heroes, just based on, well, before he died, okay? My question is I almost feel like Roger Waters died, like Brian Jones. I remember Roger Waters when he was around. Boy, that was great. He wrote some of the great. I wish I could remember him like that anyway. I really do. But dig this quote, because this is the start of the trouble, right here. And we've covered this in the past, but more shenanigans are going on. And so I thought, hey, let's talk about it. Here's the quote that got Roger Waters in trouble with the Ozzy Osbourne clan. The entire family would like to see this man shipped off to Mars with no breathing equipment, I am sure.
Yeah.
But, and to give you a little background, this is him talking on a podcast, an interview podcast, because that's going to work into this, because some of his excuses about what he said is that, well, you got to understand, I was in the middle of a podcast, and, or his guttural whatever. It was an hour and a half, as if that's an excuse. You get tired, old man, get off the fucking air. Okay, so during this so-called hour and a half, I was sweating, baby. I was sweating. I was on it for an hour. And I know, being on a podcast, being up here right now, I don't feel drained right here in the moment. But I can guarantee you, when I shut this stream down, folks, I'm going to feel dead-ass tired. I won't be able to move out of this chair and put the lighting away in my studio. It does take a lot out of you, and I understand that. And once again, I do want to say this man has proven himself to be a genius writer and a serious contributor to classic rock, and he is, historically speaking, one of my heroes. But here's what he said, all right? And he claims he was exhausted in this latest bit of business. But he says Ozzy Osbourne, who just died, bless him, let me start this over. Ozzy Osbourne, who just died, bless him, in his whatever, that state that he was in his whole life, will never know, although he was all over the TV for hundreds of years with his idiocy and nonsense. I don't care about Black Sabbath. I never did. I have no interest in it at all. And biting heads off of chickens or whatever they do, I could care less. Now, when Ozzy was corrected that he actually bit a head off of a bat, big difference, Roger. Right, Kimberly?
Right.
As if, what, biting the head off of a bat is somehow better than biting the head off of a chicken?
Oh, God,
to me, it's worse.
It is worse.
You know?
Much
and,
worse.
But dig this. It says when corrected that Ozzy Osbourne actually bit the head off of a bat.
You get rabies from bats.
Okay, well, that's a fair point, Kimberly.
No, you do. You literally do, especially in Australia. Yeah.
Brendan goes, that's a myth.
No, it's a fact.
Brandon. Anyway, when he was informed of the difference, he says, oh my God, that's even worse, isn't it? I don't know. Is it worse to bite the head off of a bat or a chicken? I'd say either way is not exactly cool.
Either way is, no, that's going too far. Come on.
Yeah.
That's going the wrong direction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not impressive. That's gross.
Well,
that's gross.
Yeah, in this latest debacle, and a lot of this is based on an interview he did with, oh God, I'm going to forget the Brit's name, the British gentleman. He's kind of right-wing, although the more I see him, I go, no, he's got some left-wing tendencies to him and everything. And during that interview, you'll notice that he brings up the words oligarchs and how oligarchs are ruining everything, okay? And they talked about Iran, and this is where I got to be careful. They talked about Israel, and they talked about Venezuela, and how Iran and Venezuela is being deposed by the oligarchs of the world. My problem with that is, isn't Roger Waters one of those oligarchs? You know, there's a ton of rockers out there these days that are going, down with the oligarchs. Well, let's hang you first, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
These rockers have funds that none of us can dream about. You know? I can't believe it. He talks about how people in countries who protest were not protesting, but that they were trying to depose the country. And yet when he was corrected, and he says, and when they corrected that, they stopped, okay? Which he had to be corrected that no such thing ever happened. Matter of fact, he's corrected in this interview on important empirical data time and time again. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know what he said after that? Well, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm serious. He actually had the guts enough to say that. You know, and there is some truth to that. See, what he's doing, he's taking the old saying that the victors in war are the patriots, and the defeated in war are now the bad guy, as written by history, the victory.
The victor
victors.
always writes the history.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt, yeah.
But at the same time, this is what you get from the alt-left. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't like the alt-right any better. So if you have left inclinations, power on to you, rock on. I know you've done a lot of thinking to get where you are. I have trust in you. And I'm not here to change your mind. And you can't change my mind, because arguing politics, it never happens that you, oh, I've seen the light. Everybody's pretty much seen the light in their early days, right? A few of us will actually question ourselves, but most people don't even go to that point. They grab onto a belief system. That's right for me, Wilma. By God, I'm going to vote for such and such, right? Or someone on the other side going, oh, I couldn't dream of voting anything but, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going. You're not going to change anybody's mind. But this gets down to, let's see, is politics, where the friends meet? My class cocktail. Yeah, yeah. That was another thing. Piers Morgan. This is the Piers Morgan interview. And he was told that when he was still arguing that, no, they quit protesting, he says, I've got friends. I always kind of, I always don't believe people when they say, some of my best friends are black. Some of my best friends are gay.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's not a matter. What? You're counting them up? And here he is counting his friends who know better than Piers Morgan, who has corrected his ass quite literally on just the facts, man. Thank you, Dan. Like about 50 times already.
Storm's Cop says, we don't do politics, only rock.
That's right.
I agree.
That's right. But all of this goes. They tied this in. The reason I have to touch on this, Storm Cop, is that it got to the point that Piers kind of got it over and says, all right, so you've said all this stuff about Ozzy. And here you'll notice the content created. If I didn't go over all of that, then this portion of the interview would have made no sense to you, or less sense. So he's questioning him on whether he regretted saying what he said on Ozzy. And of course, the first thing out of his mouth is, well, no. And then he mumbles something about, well, due to the timing, but he says nothing about apologizing or maybe even making sense of the timing. He just kind of mumbles through that. And Piers then asks him, well, do you owe the family an apology? And he mumbles through, well, I'm sorry that Jack lost his father, but he has to do all of this while he mumbles a good 2 minutes, talking before he even says that I'm sorry he lost his father. He digresses and says that as far as Sharon, who he calls Karen, by the way.
Yeah, Karen.
Yeah. All right, and I'm not a huge fan of Sharon Osbourne, but I think she showed true grit during the last years of Ozzy's life. I don't think he would have lived as long as he did without her. And they were in love. It's a great love story, right? Mm-hmm. But then he turns around and says he doesn't owe her an apology because she is a Zionist. All right? She's a pawn to Israel. And then he goes off on a diatribe. And that's why I don't cover Roger Waters very often here. I would call it, but I'll tell you one thing. When I first started covering him, I'd lose 10 or 15 subscribers every time. Thou shalt not talk ill of Roger Waters. That type of thing. And I've noticed in the last couple of years, when I've done stuff, I gain subscribers now. So, and this gets back to the whole idea. I was talking about one of the poll positions, the Eagles, who at first weren't doing so good. Was it Johnny Winter that was creeping up on their ass? And I had wondered, I even said it to Kimberly, I wonder if they've hurt their legacy too much. Because if you had done this poll 10 years ago, they would have won the heat every single time. There would be no freaking doubt about that, right? So anyway, when I look at all of this, In the final analysis, when you are so wrapped up in your belief system that it robs you of your humanity, when you are so wrapped up in your religion or your politics that it robs you of the ability to go to your closest friend, maybe your wife, I never cared for his music, but it's sad. Even there. But it's sad he passed away. That's too bad. But he had to make this big statement. Call Ozzy a clown, as if Ozzy didn't know exactly how he was coming off. He wasn't as stupid as Roger Waters would like to make out. And here's another thing. I love both these bands. I love both these artists. And which one of you, was it Carly? I think it was Carly.
Carly.
That said it really upsets her that bands that she loved, absolutely adored as a child, and collected equally, and I did too at the time, as I said. I collected Black Sabbath and Pink Floyd concurrently, right? And at the time, Black Sabbath was a lot higher on my list because they were brand new and everything. This is back in the day. And you'd never, at that time period, you would have never thought that some of these people, first of all, would ever grow old. Who would?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny how that happened, huh, baby?
Yep.
Damned life.
Yeah.
Damned life always gets in the way of life. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
But I loved them both. Both these bands were great. And to dream that they would get to the point of being sad, old men, I would have never dreamed in my entire thought process of a sitting down Ozzy because he couldn't get up doing his very last show and then him dying shortly after. I would have never dreamed of that ending in my entire freaking life. I don't think Royce and I were covering this story. I didn't think Ozzy was long for the world, but I thought he had a few, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 years left in him. Maybe, if he behaved himself and listened to Sharon, right? And then this big, sad tragedy, and yet marvelous thing at the very same time happens. What did that do? It took the spotlight off of Roger Waters. My entire latest video, folks, is on the ego and how egos have destroyed bands in rock and roll, even the mighty Beatles. Hear it out before you disagree with me. It's about a 15-minute video. And if there is one man that I see quite clearly as carrying a fractured ego, it's got to be Roger Waters. He can't find enough bad things to say about David Gilmour or Polly or Ozzy at this point, or a whole ton of people. If he sets your teeth against you and you're in the band with him, an original member as well, an integral part of the band, he'll get your ass fired. Just ask Richard Wright. The man he's not a nice guy. And yet I noticed in this, see, when I've seen him being interviewed, he's usually in an environment where he doesn't have to be nice or anything. Is all you hear out of his mouth, right? But this is the Piers Morgan show. So he's out, oh yeah, we talked, and he's always trying to make it easy. You can tell he's trying to massage the fucking interview. And of course, Piers was going to have none of that. He just went right past his little pleasantries and got right down to the point. And the thing is, this man is the same man, what was it, last year, year before, who did the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon by rewriting it and claiming he wrote the whole damn thing. He's a great writer, folks. Great lyricist.
Yep.
But he didn't write the Dark Side of the Moon. All right? Wikipedia, Wikipedia, still has the right scuttlebutt on that, or at least it did the last time I was over there, because we all know Wikipedia can change. You know, it's a morphing encyclopedia. And you look at the writing credits. You know, he wrote the lyrics, there's no doubt about it. But plenty of the other members, all of the other members had a course in writing it. And Dark Side of the Moon is one of those albums that are, well, Roger Waters' stuff is good. I don't know about the rest of them. Fuck you. No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the whole album's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it is.
Even Nick's little piece, that I think, starts it all off. You know? And his whole idea and how he did it is in total disregard to the band. He was, you know, he left the band. He didn't think that Pink Floyd had a future without, you know, good old him. And so they decided to continue on after him. He tried to shut them down because he didn't think they'd even have the nerve to continue on. Because after all, I'm Pink Floyd, not them. I'm Pink Floyd, right? And so, and then on top of that, before they're done, they're doing the Division Bell. And David Gilmour's wife, Polly, is writing the lyrics, or some of the lyrics, certainly a whole lot of the lyrics on that album. And you just know that it ate at Roger Waters right into his craw. He couldn't stand it, right? But imagine what he did to begin with. Think of the freaking ego on this man's head.
Yeah.
And I am so wonderfully glad that Pink Floyd came back, although nowhere near as prolific as I wished and hoped that they would be, and showed him, we don't need you. You made us better, but we can put out great freaking product without your input.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah.
Okay? The Division Bell is a great album. My good buddy from B-Sides, all right, Bruce Cologne, thinks it's a fabulous album. I think Royce out there likes it or loves it. I forget how high Royce ranks it, but it's a great album. Is it The Dark Side of the Moon? No. It might not even be The Wall, although I think The Wall has got some of their very best stuff. It's also a bit padded. But I'd say The Wall's still a better record than the Division Bell, but just by a hair.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was no Roger Waters insight to create that. Great album cover, too, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. That is about what I had to say about him. How are we doing in the comments here, baby? Are we getting any more suggestions? Anything anybody saying that's interesting here?
Well, goodness.
Hey, Harrison, it's good to see you. John Sruss is in the house. I like Roger Waters as a rocker. If he and I were to discuss politics, well, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the way I've seen him in interviews, I wouldn't even look forward to the conversation, mainly because his ego is so permanently. I mean, think about it. I am so important that I can tear down the biggest 2025 rock story and the biggest rocker of 2025 with the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. Most content creators would agree with me, I think. That was the big story of the year. That was the big trauma of 2025. No doubt about it, certainly in rock and roll. And he couldn't have any of that. He couldn't share the limelight. You know? Yeah. People were actually reporting on his funeral, his last words, when Sharon found him. How is Jack doing? How is his daughters doing? Eating up Roger Waters' interview time on shows like Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
What a freaking ego. I can't take it. Anybody else out there, Kimberly?
Oh.
Oh, Roy says he agrees on the wall. I suppose you mean that you think it's a bit padded as well? It's got great stuff. Some of their very best stuff on that album. Some of their very best stuff. But to me, there's a lot of filler. And I also hear filler with Tommy by The Who. Some of their very, 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 very best stuff by The Who are on Tommy. But when you listen to it as a whole, I find myself reaching for Quadrophenia more so than Tommy, and picking up the great Tommy songs on a compilation. I don't know how you guys think about that. And The Who are one of my favorite bands, and they're in the Mt.Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. I think they came in at number 5, if I recall. Let me check. I think the Stones just barely beat them out. Yeah, and these are the only Hall of Famers that will ever be numbered. Here's the rankings. Number 1, the Beatles. Number 2, Led Zeppelin. Number 3, Pink Floyd. Then comes the Rolling Stones at 4. Number 5, The Who. Number 6, Deep Purple. Number 7, Black Sabbath. Number 8, Rush. Number 9, Yes. Number 10, Queen. Number 11, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Number 12, Genesis. And number 13, Grand Funk Railroad, who isn't in the regular Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I had a great time with you. Also, by the way, I want you guys to all know, sometime late tonight, I will be putting up the part 1. It'll be part 7. And then after that, probably a half a day after that, I'll put the second part, part 8. Okay, 7 and 8, and a whole lot of what's going on there, you guys help put together tonight. And that's what I want the stream to always be. A conversation between you and me, a conversation from tribe member to tribe member. That's really important to me. And whatever I do on this channel, ever since I gave up my original 13-band list and gave it over to you to vote on, I'll tell you, I felt a lot better. I like the idea of the tribe being empowered. So get on over and vote. By the way, it's not too late, even on the oldest parts of this poll, to still vote. Every section of this 26-part poll will be open until the very moment I claim live on the air that, all right, as of this minute, the tally is in. That'll probably be on a stream, and I will then go over and we'll discuss who's in and how we're going to do this. And tell me what you think of a Mt.Rock Olympus cup or mug or something.
Oh, my goodness.
If you like that idea, let me know.
Royce just came in with a super thing.
Oh, brother,
thank
you so much.
Much, Royce. You're always so wonderful.
Oh, my. He says, great show, brother.
Oh, that's so nice.
By the way, Royce, I really enjoyed your show. I don't know if you were here at the beginning. I talked about some of the troll activity we had to deal with over there. That was sad. But we had a great show over there. We had to break trad on his show, baby.
Yeah?
What is breaking trad?
That's a good question.
Breaking tradition.
Okay.
We usually only have 4 panelists, but by some freaking miracle, we wound up with 5. Now, I know that Dan was late getting in. Royce wasn't sure if he was going to be up, and so he brought Dawson on, and so we had 5 members on the panel. It still went great. I had a great time. There's a reason why he wants 4. You get larger sections of each person. It looks better on the screen, and it also keeps the discussion group to a low boil, and nobody gets kind of cut off and everything. It's easier to get a flow of discussion when we do that. And I certainly appreciate your super thanks, brother. I appreciate all your people's super thanks tonight. You guys are keeping the channel alive. I'll tell you, it's a tough time for the channel. There are aspects that are going gangbusters, but just as many that are concerning to me. And we'll discuss that on a Wednesday, maybe. I want to ride this a little bit further before saying anything. But there are, views on my regular videos have never been this far down ever. And part of the reason for that, I understand, has to do with YouTube's new algorithm based on the Genesis program. And a lot of content creators are complaining. Of course, you guys know I've been complaining a little bit longer. I think the shenanigans started before Genesis. And those content creators who are focused in on their channel, as I am, I'm answering your comments all the time. I spent a good portion of the morning answering your comments on my latest video from last night because I was exhausted and I had to get ready for this. And then I go, it doesn't matter, before you go up to stream, you got to go and answer those comments, right? I make a lot of energy available to myself to keep in contact with you. That's what I think the channel has that a lot of other channels don't. Oh, you've got content creators who will, answer the first 20 comments. I'll be answering until I have to get on to another video or I bump into a stream, okay? And it's not uncommon for me to spend 6 to 8 hours talking to you guys in the comments because I want the channel to be living. I want the channel to be a breathing, freaking entity. And in order for that to happen, I think communication is an important part of the channel. I think that's what attracts a whole lot of you to the channel. It's not just what Michael says. Oh yeah, well, I'll tell him off in the comments. It's not like I'll get a comment back. Oops. Michael replies, right? Okay, I had a great time today. Went about an hour and a half. That's good. I'm going to try and work myself on Wednesdays. Like I said, when I can now start to feel the exhaustion, folding in on me, all around me, And you got to work yourself up to a longer view. And quite frankly, the last couple of Wednesdays, I've been pushing to get to about an hour and a half. And next step, let's see if we can push to about an hour, 45 minutes, and we'll get this thing up running for a good 2 hours, at least on Wednesdays. That's my current plan. Let me know what you think of longer streams. Okay? Now watch everybody go, stream 3 hours, just like the others do, But anyway. All right, folks. I'm Michael Noland, have been all day. And I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're physically sound. If not, hopes, prayers out to each and every one of you. And I know of several of you that are going through tough times right now. And if you are in one of your glory hole moments in life, I'm pretty damn healthy. Ain't poor, ain't rich, but I ain't poor. Things are kind of status quo. Man, bask in that glory. Bask in that glory. And I'm so happy you're in a sweet spot in your life because life serves us the sweet and the sour, as anyone who reaches my age knows. As a matter of fact, Caitlin, I've got a birthday coming up. As a matter of fact, dare I announce it? What do you think, Kimberly? On Sunday.
Sunday will be Michael's birthday.
That's right. I'm streaming on my freaking birthday, folks.
Yeah, we have birthdays.
I'll turn 21 on Sunday. Sunday at 4 a.m., right? So we get older. You get to this point, and the good times, you don't take them for granted because, sure to follow is a bit of bad times every once in a while. That's the nature of life, the ups and downs, and I can only hope that each and every one of you are being touched lightly by life these days. You're important to us. Kimberly and I've said this before, we get off and then we discuss.
Yeah, we love the tribe.
Yeah, I put pressure on it. Are there any comments? And she's going, I don't know. Is there any comments?
Such a blessed tribe, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but then we'll get off and she'll have a blurb there in a moment. And then we'll be off for about 5 minutes. She'll go, oh, yeah, I Am One of Us was in, and he said. Or James Stormcop did bring that up, Michael. And so she has been, I got to quite a few of you today, I think, better than before. I want to connect to you guys more and more.
Ben Scheidegger says, happy early birthday, Michael.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Love each and every one of you, and I'll see you on Sunday at 5 p.m. PST. Adjust your times, your local times accordingly, and we'll be talking about another subject and probably a little bit of Mt.Rock Olympus. Don't forget to vote. Get on over there and vote. We have over 5,000 votes so far, so your vote counts. And don't forget, well, I missed the first 5 parts. Get on back or scroll on down. Start clicking in your favorites. Make your voice heard. All right, folks, I got to stand up and get this thing going, and I hope my back doesn't squeak while I do. But truly, I love each and every one of you. And remember always, folks, we are the tribe. You bet your freaking life. Night, folks.